and welcome to the LMS Show. My name is Lenny. Give yourselves a big hand. Hooray! Got the professor on the camera here. Got Anthony, our intern. Give him a big hand, everybody. Then you got Will in the back. Ed loaned us the lights today. And also, too, most of the way we have Sister Jennifer. Give Sister Jennifer a big hand, everybody. Sister Jennifer, Corey, and the future, Brandon and Jordan. Give them a big hand. And we have my guest co-host of the day. Give us your name, my friend.
Narissa J.
Narissa J. Give her a big hand, everybody. Wow, I didn't know who that was coming down the street. Well, look, ratings. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. J.
So my name is Narissa J, and I am a social worker. That is my career. And I'm also a two-time author of Mysterious Me.
Mysterious Me, yeah.
And Live, Love, and Confidence, a guide to building self-esteem in girls and young women. I am also an actress. I was in a play called Dear God, and
How was that?
Oh, it was fabulous.
Yeah.
We did a festival, a 3-day festival. It wasn't picked up, but ultimately we got the experience and exposure. Yes. And I've been in a web series called Bum Rush, so if you get a chance, go to YouTube and type in Bum Rush and check out.
And we'll stop right there. Because we're on public access, they have a habit of ripping people's tapes out.
Okay.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, listen to this. Oh, boy. We have a guest sitting next to you. And very interesting. In fact, I met him here at Sisters. The gentleman, how many years you served?
Almost 3 years.
3 years. And I was talking about the gentleman, who did 16. What's your name, my friend?
Yakeem Rumley.
Give him a big hand, everybody. Mr. Rudley, how are you?
Doing great.
Good. During that time in prison, you had time to write some books too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Give us one of the books.
The first book is called The Transformation of My Life, and I had a book signing here in February.
Okay.
And the second one is Black Men in Prison Behavior, which talks about the corruption of the criminal justice system, what really goes on in prison.
Now you see why we putting something lighter on later on. With down some of the Bible stats, enough is enough. The book, the Black Man in Prison Behavior, you wrote something about sports management. Tell us a bit about how you end up there.
My major at Hampton University was broadcast journalism with a minor in sports management, and I got my master's in sports administration. I was a former college coach and athletic director, and despite that, being mixed in with the wrong association, I was
what kind of wrong association?
Hanging out with those individuals that were not living a healthy lifestyle.
So those will be your so-called friends, huh?
Yeah, so-called, definitely so-called.
You said you were engaged to a young lady, right? What happened there?
I was engaged to someone I met while I was athletic director at Manhattan College. Mm-hmm. And what I found out later on was that she was using me for a green card.
Oh, boy, I don't know. I'd rather deal with people who live here. I'll be getting to agree with that other man. We'll talk a little bit about that. What? You said that you sort of broke it off. What happened there?
Well, the person wasn't from America, from Israel.
Okay.
And because they knew I was in a high-profile role.
They run. See, I tell people they run after brothers in high-profile. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
They run. I'm not saying that the old dine is no good for them anymore, but this is when you get a profession like that, you're going to be surrounded all by all these people.
Yeah.
I'm not being a racist, but I'm calling a spade a spade. Because if you go to a cocktail party, the only ones you're going to see black is the person serving you a drink.
Sad but true sometimes.
Yeah, go ahead.
And what happened was she had complained to administration that, oh, he promised me a better lifestyle and so on and so forth. So when I realized that the person was ultimately after my income instead of being in love, I decided to call it off.
You called it off?
I called it off.
Okay.
And what happened was, I don't know, man, look at you.
No, look at me.
So what happened was, she had summoned me to come and pick up the engagement ring at her place. And when I got there, she wasn't there. It was her friend that was there. Invited me into the apartment and said, "Wait until she comes, and then you can pick up the engagement ring."
Listen to this, get the plot gets thicker. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I sat there, waited and waited. And I said, okay, you're playing games. I've got a coach later on. We were playing Siena College later on that evening. So I said, look, I can't wait any longer. I'm gonna have to go. So at that point, I waited another 10 minutes. Abital finally showed up, and she says, "Black men are no good. I should have never gone with you in the first place." And then threw the ring at me and says, "Keep your."
Yeah.
Keep your
really take off. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Keep your ring and go about your business. So I got the ring, I left, and about 3 weeks later, I got a call from a detective from the 113th precinct saying that 2 women said that you came to their apartment and threatened them and all this other stuff. I said, when did this supposedly happen? They said 3 weeks ago, and I said, well, if they knew who I was, why would you wait 3 weeks to after the incident happened?
You agree? You have a comment?
It's like they came up with a story to try to come together to sound plausible and believable to the detective. So at that time in 2009 when this happened, I said I didn't think I needed a lawyer. So I went down to the precinct, basically said there's a lie. These are 2 women that I've known that made up a story. Just to try to ruin my career as a head coach. So I gave my statement and then I left.
Wait a minute, you went down there without a lawyer, right?
Yeah. At that time, 2009.
Oh, no, but you...
Yeah. What I know now is what I didn't know back then. Yeah. So I went and I made a statement, and then...
But they rolled that statement into the sunset, huh?
Yeah. They did. Hindsight is 2020. And what happened was, they said, well, because of these reports, we're charging you with burglary in the second, 2 counts of criminal trespassing in the 4th degree. And I had no idea what that really meant, because I thought in order to burglarize something, you have to steal something from there.
Well, what did they say? What was their interpretation?
Well, what I found out later on is burglary is actually dwelling in the remains of someone's apartment, with or without their consent.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize that until after I was already incarcerated, what that actually did. Once you're in someone's apartment and you're there, it's considered a dwelling. And it's if it's a home, it's burglary in the second. If it's a storehouse or a warehouse, then it's burglary in the third.
Well, the biggest law story lesson learned. Don't go into any women's apartments. Or your men's apartments. Oh my goodness.
Yep. But that was the beginning of the turning point of my life, because as I did find a lawyer, he said in Queens, unlike Manhattan, the Bronx.
How you said Staten Island does the same thing too, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Staten Island and Queens are the 2 boroughs where
stay out of them.
once you're indicted of a crime in Staten Island or Queens, you automatically, there's no plea. You either have to take it to trial or accept the plea. And on a burglary 2 charge, the minimum is 3.5 years. Yeah, it's 3.5 to 15. So my lawyer told me those options. I said, well, I'm not going to take a plea to something I didn't do, so we're going to have to take it to trial.
And so, in short, you took it to trial, and they had, well, could be your peers, but weren't really your peers,
right.
And they found you guilty, right?
Yeah, after a year and a half, between 2009 and late 2010, I was going back and forth to court, back and forth to court.
So that cuts some people, that cuts into, you know, if you have a job, that cuts some people's paychecks after a while, you know.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear, you know, the black man don't want to hear, you gotta go run back to court. He want his money, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky that they kept me on in Manhattan College. I kept telling them, you know, I'm sorry that I have to take these days off, but I've been there for such a long time that the dean of student life was understanding. So I was taking time off, and then eventually the case went to trial in Queens and Astoria. And unfortunately, the jury pool wasn't exactly
of your peers.
Favorable to me.
Not like OJ. Go ahead.
No African American men or females. It was Asian, Indian, and mostly Caucasian women. So after a 4-week trial, they found me guilty, 2 counts of burglary, which is minimum. I had to serve 3.5 years. So.
But during that time you were in there, because we want people to read the book, we don't want to give everything away. You worked as a counselor assistant. What were you doing there?
Well, once I was incarcerated, I was a teacher's aide, and basically a teacher's aide actually helps the inmates read and write and help them get.
You know, you'd be surprised. A lot of these people don't know how to read and write. Do you agree?
I agree.
They don't know how to read and write, because I remember one time I was down. I went to the clinic one day, and there was a correction officer, and he mentioned to me, he said, you know something? Most of the time when people come in, I had to write the forms for them. There's a lot of people, you know, a lot of people in there don't know how to read. And you have children, right?
Yes.
And also too, like up to I think they give you tests up to about, you know, the 3rd or 4th grade. They already know where you're going. The next stop gonna be.
You have a question?
Well, actually, I'll wait. I'll read the book because my question might be answered.
Oh, okay.
The book.
Oh. But you made a vow to that when you come out, right?
Yep.
People got to read the book. When you made a vow when you come out, you were going to help other people. Did you do that?
Yes. In my case, and you'll read about it in the book, but when my case got overturned after 30 months, that first Sunday was Super Bowl Sunday, and I rejoined Common Avenue Baptist Church, and I heard the message.
Were you active there before?
I was a member, but I can't say I was active.
Oh, well, okay. I'll leave it at that.
But what happened was I heard Pastor's message, "Can you hear me now?" And I joined Convent, and since then I'm now the president of the prison ministry at Common Avenue Baptist Church. And
you get a lot of mail from a lot of inmates. What do they say? You know, I don't want to read other people's mail, but what do they say most of the time?
Well, a lot of them. Well, a couple ones that I just received recently. Some of my books are at Rikers Island, so some of them had read my story, and they said that that's amazing that despite being denied work release for 3 straight years, you never gave up, and you know, we'd like to meet you. So I write them. I tell them read Matthew 25:36, and just a lot of scriptures on how to overcome obstacles. You know, that might seem impossible to others, but nothing's impossible for God.
Give them a big hand, everybody. But you never gave up, right?
No, I was denied work release in 2011, 2012, and early 2013.
I was reading the other day, what's his name? The Manson gang. They was one of them was up in age, and they said, "No, you stay right here."
But the best part was after that last denial, 3 weeks later, the guard comes to my cell and he knocks on the door. He says, "Pack up, we're leaving." So I'm thinking I'm going
to another prison.
I think I'm going to another, like maybe Queensboro, and he says, "No, your case got overturned. You're no longer state property, so we got to pack you up and get you off the site before."
But you went out and got, I don't want to use the expression, I'll leave you a lawyer that know what they're doing.
Yeah, the first lawyer was horrible. Yeah, but the appellate attorney was excellent. When I met him in Ulster, He said, and of course at that point I knew nothing about how long an appeals takes. But he said, Rumley, this burglary 2 is an easy case to beat. However, you're going to sit for at least 2 years because that's how long the process actually takes. And I said, that long in an appeal? And he said, yeah, because the DA, and they'll read about in the book, they have up to 6 months to respond to your plea.
And they can sit on it.
They can sit, not only can they sit for 6 months, but they can ask for up to 3 extensions, which is exactly what they did. So by the time my case got on the calendar, I had already served 3/4 of my sentence already. So at that point, it was just whether the case was going to be overturned, which it was, but I already served 3 out of 3.5. So at that point,
is the church, active with the prison ministry? Because you have a lot of churches set up these things, and they're not active in anything.
No,
your church is they're very active in it.
Yeah, no, they're very active.
And what were they active in?
Pastor Williams, we have 3 events throughout the year. One is the Angel Tree all year long, which I spearhead. Whereas we get letters from various inmates that have family members and kids, and every Christmas we put on a show for them. We give them gifts from their parents, mother or father who may be incarcerated. Then we do a reentry workshop every fall in September and in March, which helps those individuals that are just coming home from prison to let them know what their rights are.
That's so important though, because when you come out and you face it, if you've been there. There was a gentleman came to the bookstore one day, and he was in jail for about 40 some odd years. I mean, he was in there for 40 some odd years, and I guess he didn't know when he rode the train that the bus and the train talk back.
Oh yeah. Well, the biggest thing is, which didn't exist in 13, but what happened when I came home in 13, which is in effect now, is now in the application, no longer can jobs say, have you ever been incarcerated? Check yes, felony or misdemeanor. Whereas when I first came in 13, I was on the application. So
that's one thing I think in New York City, let's say in New York City, maybe other cities are doing that, but I'll give, the city council a big hand behind that. You don't get a big hand behind politicians. But I'm glad that was brought up and that was resolved because, only time they can ask them is that they get the job, right?
Right.
And then it's up to them at their discretion, do they want them?
Right.
And I believe in giving a person, a second chance. Do you agree?
I agree.
What way? You're a social worker.
Yes, I am. I think that.
A little louder.
I think that it's important that you give people a second chance because sometimes people commit crimes when they're younger due to their upbringing, and because of it, that's why they've done it. But as you get older, you learn, you get exposed to different people, and you should be given a second chance.
You agree, everybody?
Absolutely.
Sometimes people are innocent.
But we know that.
That's right.
We know that too.
Go ahead.
Let's put it in there.
Yeah, I think the hardest part is when you come out, the readjustment. And like for instance, when I came home, I had to go to the back to work program. They give you food stamps, cash assistance, like 123 a week. So for some people, it's like beneath them to have to keep going to those programs, but it allowed you to get back on your feet. So I think it's important to be able to go through that and then look back, self-reflect and say, okay, I went through that and now I made it.
Right. And not everybody take advantage of those programs,
Right.
which is not a good thing. Because being a social worker, I've been exposed to individuals who have taken advantage of it, and when they look at where they were and where they are now, they're happy. And then you have those who didn't, and they're back in the same positions that they were in, if not worse. So I think that a lot of people who come home should take advantage of those programs because it's growth, it shows growth, and they can.
It's also was one's consciousness too, right?
Yes.
It's just like, you don't want to sit back and be like Otis and know the room to the jailhouse and let yourself in. You already know you did wrong.
But I'm going back, I'm thinking about when you said that in the jails, a lot of people don't know how to read and they don't know how to do a lot of things.
Yes.
So if they are not taught that in jail, which 9 times out of 10 they're not. When they come home, normally they go to a
program, but if they refuse the program, they literally can stay in their bed all day, or in their cell. I had a guy that was not in my cell, but adjacent to it. He said, "Rumley, he said, man, I ain't doing none of this. I'm refusing, just be in the yard all day." And that's what he did for the time that I was there. Did nothing but sleep.
On that note, I'd like to thank you all very much, and we'll bring you back another day, okay? And what's the name of those books again?
First one is Transformation of My Life.
And the second one?
And second is
We're not selling one here, go
Black
ahead.
Men in Prison Behavior.
And your book?
Well, this is Mysterious Me, and this book is based on some of my life experiences. You will laugh, you might cry, but chapter 2 will for sure have you aroused. And it's a book of poetry. And I want to say back in 2004, I worked for a non-profit organization, and it was because of this woman who came in and ran her workshops. Her name is Nikki Williams, who also performed. She comes here a lot.
Yes.
And she came in, and I ran a woman's workshop for a woman who had HIV.
Yes.
And they said, "Oh, go ask Ms. Jenkins to join her group." And I said, "Come on in." I said, "But I'm going to participate." So she said, "Sure, no problem." And she ran this therapeutic activity. And she went around the room and she asked, "What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like?" I said, "I like R&B." And she said, "Write something." And that was my very first piece, which is in the book, R&B Soul. And from that day forward, I have not put the pen down. And when I tell you, I can write off of anything. I can write off this experience.
You know, briefly, you know, sometimes, also I'm going to leave with this opportunity. We can put on, we can stand on YouTube. Opportunity, sometimes you don't know when your next opportunity comes, you know, for both sides. I met you at the book fair, right?
Yes.
That was last week. And sometimes, like we were talking about a few minutes ago, like you said, the gentleman said, "Oh, I ain't gonna stay in the snow, you know, stay in the cell. I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna go to the yard." All that. But you know, one thing for sure, I'll leave with this: nobody gives away diamonds. I never gave anybody no diamond. They had to be worthy of it. But diamonds come from coal, and sometimes you get a situation, you know, you have to take advantage of it. And I say this behind your back and before your face. I commend you for coming down today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And I'm a woman of my word, so I
see you a woman of your word. I thank you all so much. And we'll be back.
Yeah, that'd be fine.